Okay, now what I'm going to discuss now is from your 10th chapter from Lexicon, the page number 495 of the new edition. Okay, so here some ethical issues are discussed. What you need to do is you can also go through this. I'll be discussing from there. I'll take up some issues today. So the ethical issues, various ethical issues, like we will take society and social issues. So the first one that we can see here, that is from page number 495, that is related to lynching and intolerant society. So if you remember, many a times I have discussed about tolerance as a very important virtue. Okay, in all the cases when we discussed about Mahatma Gandhi, we have discussed this n number of times that tolerance is one of the most important virtue. So lynching is mostly happening because of this intolerant society. Nowadays we can see an increasing trend of intolerant society, and this intolerance is towards a particular religion, right? So tolerance is what it is, your attitude to respect the others from the different culture, from different religion, from different language, whatever it is. So intolerant society is what you can see. In which context I'm discussing this now? Now what is this lynching? Lynching means it's like a punishment, maybe killing also. So there may be some alleged offense, and without any legal trial or due procedure which has been followed, the society, the mob lynching, right? They kill. In this cow protection movement and the beef ban issue, you can see so much of issues of mob lynching. So now what are the ethical issues involved here? Violation of law. So you cannot violate law. If you are doing that, you are actually challenging rule of law. So that is against, the law of the land. So there is violation of law, so that cannot be done. And what we need tolerance. Now if you remember, I have discussed about Mahatma Gandhi's statement in this particular issue itself, that beef ban and this, right? I am a Hindu and I request my Muslim and Christian brothers not to slaughter cow. But if they do it, I cannot kill them because human beings are more important for me than animals. Okay, so I hope that we have discussed. Now here the issues are like violation of law, and nobody have given you the license to take law in your hands. So that you cannot do that. So you are against this anyway. Secondly, I have told you this create intolerance in society, and this is not accepted, right? Then you have a right to life which has been granted by the constitution. So a right to life involves many things. Right to have your choice of food also. So when constitution guaranteeing this right, then you cannot go against that. So it is just like violation of the constitution. Then other issues you can develop here. These are the main points that you can write here. Then trust deficit. Okay, tolerance is not there means there will be trust deficit, and then future also there can be a lot of problems with respect to that. So you need to develop here. This can be a question which is expected in case study. We will discuss the case study later, but here I'm just talking about some issues since it has been given in the textbook, so that you can once read also. Sexual harassment at workplace, one case study is for sure from this. Right, so what are the problem? So you need to know the law with respect to this also. There is a Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act, which was passed in 2013. And here the definition of sexual harassment has been taken from Vishaga case, from Vishaga guidelines. You don't want to go with the Vishaga guidelines, but if you still want to, the sexual harassment have given, very broad meaning, very broad connotation. Any unwelcome act or behavior that has been taken as sexual harassment. It can be physical contact, even advances that somebody is making towards a female, that is also considered as sexual harassment. Okay, the demand and request for sexual favors, making sexually colored remarks, showing pornography, okay, any other unwelcome physical and verbal or non-verbal conduct of sexual nature. So now what are the ethical issues here? This is actually discouraging. If more and more sexual harassment is there, it is actually discouraging women participation, right? So in the already the society is patriarchal. Women contribution and women participation in the job force and the labor force. If you see the LFPR labor force participation of women is already less. So if this is more, and if you cannot control this, so what we need not only legal backup, we need the good backup and support from the organization also. right? So that, women participation will increase. You can encourage women. So this actually lead to discouragement of women participation, because it's a demoralizing effect, right? Discourage women from asserting themselves in the workplace. And it's almost like, the patriarchy setup is actually reinforced through, this sexual harassment, and women are treated as an object, right? So all these you can write. And degraded, the entire working environment will be degraded if you cannot protect women in the working environment. So entire working environment itself is actually degraded, and the people will be at very low. Now, as I've told you, legal impact. See, when it comes to law, what is the problem? The low conviction rate is a big problem. Nothing is going to happen. You even rape a woman, nothing is going to happen. Ultimately, when it comes to the court, you see hardly less than 10% will go to conviction. So you need that much of proof in the criminal court. The law is actually in favor of whom? In favor of accused. And you have to prove beyond the doubt that you have done something. And if you see, especially in the case of sexual harassment and rape and all, the defense lawyer, the questions that the defense lawyer is asking, that itself is demoralizing, and she will contradict. It is very easy to make a woman contradict, especially in the context of sexual harassment and rape cases. Once there is a contradiction, then it's over. The case is over. Okay, it will land in accused favor. So these are issues with respect to that. Okay, so then now you need to frame your own answer. We will be discussing some examples of case study, and I'll tell you what you need to do. So these are some legal and different issues that I'm taking up. We will discuss the case study with respect to this. Thirdly, old age people. Basically, I'm talking about marginalized section. So what are the issues with respect to old age people? Now, what is the issue which is actually happening now? What is the problem with old age people? You can see life expectancy is actually increasing, and you can see rapid urbanization. So in this context, who's suffering maximum? Old age people is suffering. Especially if you see the urban versus rural, if you see the urban old is suffering maximum, because in rural areas still some values are there, like joint family values, and good values and respect for elders are still there in the rural area, but that is not there, and that values are degraded when it comes to urban old age people. So you can see these people are working most as domestic help, and in streets also they are working. So you can see the urban old age people are suffering like anything. Rural, still some values are there. So compared to the urban area, the sufferings of old age people is very less. Now, why the main problem is joint family to nuclear family shift, right? When joint family was there, the elder people used to exercise the power. They are known as the karta. So he exercised the power. When it comes to nuclear family, when the families got split, then this karta role is actually eroding. So, and he is getting powerless, and nobody is there to look after him. So what we need support from family. We need support from institutions like NGOs, self-help group, etc. We also need government initiatives. It can be pensions, it can be any government initiatives, and the community participation, etc. Then only we can take care of the issues of the elderly. So what are the issues that they have? They lack the social support, which is required especially at this particular age, right? Social support, and insufficient focus on elderly care. In India, there are not much institutions which will take care of elderly care, and most of these people, they might have written their land and everything to the sons and daughters already, so they have nothing which is left out, and they are abandoned also. But now there are laws, you can take that property back, but still there are not much social support, and there are not much institutions for elderly care. Changing family structure, I have discussed this is one of the most important reason. Lack of social support, that's done. Social inequality, mainly between urban and rural. Then values of joint family, that also we have discussed, especially in rural area, values of joint family is still there. See, people may live in nuclear families, but that joinness is there, the relatives, that feeling is there, and we are ready to support anyone, right? So that is not visible in urban area much. Economic dependency. So what you can do is you can go for some old age pensions, etc. So those are the things which can be done. So these are three issues which I want to discuss. We'll discuss more in the coming session. Tomorrow also we'll discuss this, and we have left out with two topics, that is emotional intelligence and then corporate governance, right? So here I'll discuss about CSR, corporate social responsibility. So I just need one session for this, and then we will move to case studies. Okay, so case studies I'll take around 7-8 sessions, and with that we can complete it. Any doubts here? We'll stop here.